Hey everybody, Don and Nancy Carson here.
We're just sitting tonight sharing our thoughts around this opportunity that we want to present that we believe is one of the greatest ones ever to hit the market, especially here in 2023 and going forward. Let us share a screen here and give you some thoughts around this amazing company. Nancy, maybe you can talk a little bit about this slide here right out of the gate.
Well, it's a brand new company, a category creator. Nothing like this has ever been done before. This is the brainstorm of our CEO, CFO, and master collector, Dave Jordan. And this is something he's been passionate about for a really long time.
It's almost 40 years that he's been planning this launch.
In the back of his head, and he finally just decided that this is the time, this is when he wants to bring it to everybody. And we are just so excited about being the people that he chose to move forward with this project.
And, you know, when you really think about it, bringing the past to the future is something that we all are passionate about. And that's kind of the mantra of what this company is based on. Collectric will bring so much of what you grew up with to the future of the next generations. And much of it is going to be like the entrepreneurial spirit that many of you may have experienced in current businesses you're in, or other things you've tried in life that have either done really well or failed. Like ourselves, Nancy, we've both been in traditional businesses and we've seen the ups and downs.
Well, and Dave too, he's had traditional businesses, and he always said that the thing that he loved the most is when things were up and when things were down, he still could go back to his collection, and it gave him so much joy.
Right. So when you think about a moment like that was for us in it was actually 2014, we almost died in that boat. I mean, we both went through the windshield. You shattered your ankle and your shoulder. And I mean, it was just an incredible time when we didn't even know when we woke up, you know, what would the kids have done?
Well, with us both being traditional business owners, we just realized that our kids couldn't just put on those shoes and move into that role. And so this is a unique situation with an equal playing field for anybody. And I know that our kids would be passionate about collectibles. They'd be passionate about doing something like this. It wouldn't be out of their wheelhouse. It wouldn't be asking for them to reach very far.
Yeah, and you know, when we think about that moment, you know, back in 2014, I got to tell you that, you know, we didn't know what we would do for cash flow. Ultimately, for us, you know, we weren't sort of associated with guys like Warren Buffett in those days that would have said things like, "Hey, find something that you could call hobby and turn it into something that was a business." It never made any sense to us really then until we got started and understood really what was happening in the world. Like,
well, I think there's just so many people that sell out and do the JOB and keep going through the process of feeling unfulfilled over and over again. And I love it when you had made that reference that time about giving yourself a pay raise in the cracks of your life, just doing it yourself. And some people call it a side hustle. This isn't really a hustle. That word isn't the word that I would use. This is like taking your passion and turning it into something monetary.
And we're going to show you what that means, but look at technology, how it's changing, businesses changing around you. And a lot of it is because the world's gone online, right? I mean, I know you love to buy things online, but sometimes the things you buy online aren't exactly what you hoped for, right?
Hey, 2020 though hit and everybody figured out how to get online. Everybody figured out Zoom. I wish we had a stock on Zoom before everything happened in 2020. So what it's done is it's made the platform familiar to everybody, and it's created people's faces going into the only social media, the only place that they could be social, which was media at that time. And so social media is like nothing like we've seen before.
Yeah, and this digital marketing ability for everybody to do now is from the comfort of your own home. And so when you think about that and you think about all of these different platforms that are out there, you can pick and choose, right? I mean, most of these are free. Most of them have rules and regulations of what you can and cannot say, which is fine. But the social media world has allowed you to open up your eyes to this home-based business opportunity.
And this business isn't selling, it's sharing. It's so much, you're just trying to find like-minded people that are excited about the things you're excited about, like we are.
Yeah, and again, when you can do this from home in the cracks of your time or your hours you've got, your full-time job, and you want to add that 5% raise to your job, and your boss says no, but you can add an extra $200 or $300. We're going to show you what that looks like. That's why these businesses are growing. It's one of the fastest distribution models in the world is, in fact, the home-based business in the network marketing industry. Now, this company, Collectric, has kind of this first kind of a real direct sharing sort of approach as opposed to direct selling. And one of the reasons why that is because, you know, so much of the businesses out there that are competitors to this are really around potions and lotions.
This is not like anything that we've ever seen before. It is such a unique niche. I can't wait to light it up.
Yeah, and so really, imagine this. Let's put this into perspective. Millions and millions of dollars of collectibles in warehouses, 3 warehouses that we physically have toured, containers full of products, more arriving weekly right now that our CEO, Dave, and owner of the company has been acquiring from around the United States and around the world. All of these things are going to be at our disposal. Now, let's just touch briefly on some of them. What means something to you? Let's talk a little bit about bringing the past to the future when it comes to you and I. Why don't I start? Because you're not ready. You haven't got it in your head. This is a Alexander Ovechkin rookie card. I want to share my emotion of this card. My son and I have always done this. And many of you parents out there know what that's like, especially you dads, when it comes to your son. When I bought this card, he was playing hockey, but I was traveling a lot. And I missed a lot of that time. I wasn't coaching him, but I just remember buying him this card when he was 7 years old. He's now 24 today. It was $150 back when I did do that. And today I went into the same hobby store and saw it for $3,800. This is a gentleman that's about to break Wayne Gretzky's record in a couple of years. And I can only imagine what the card might do. I don't know. But the point is, this has reconnected my son and I in an emotion from his youth to now him holding this card up and saying, Dad, I own that, don't I? And I said, yes, you do. And it's allowing us to talk a little bit about a go forward business opportunity together. How about yourself, Nancy? What would you say?
Well, I guess for me, I grew up in a really small northern community that was like a one-horse town. And in our one-horse town, there was a business there that they called the co-op. And the co-op was kind of everything for our community. They had that's where everyone got their shoes. That's where everyone got their food. That's where everybody got their appliances. That's where everything came into, was this one store. And so my mom was getting groceries. I was a little girl and I was sitting with my siblings at the food counter. That's how old and how long ago it was there were still food counters in these types of stores. And like any little girl would do, I wandered into the toy section, and lo and behold, they were unpacking Cabbage Patch Kids. And I remember in that moment making my brother and sister promise that they weren't going to go anywhere. And I ran downstairs to my mom in the grocery store, and I'm whispering because I don't want anyone else to know, because I already know that there's no such thing as Cabbage Patch Kids in Flim Flom, Manitoba.
And they were selling out around the world instantly.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm whispering in my mom's ear about how they're unloading Cabbage Patch Kids upstairs into the toy section, Mom. And she says, Nancy, you must be mistaken. There's no way that there's Cabbage Patch Kids here. Everybody in the entire world wants Cabbage Patch Kids. And I said, Mom, please, please, please. I know. Please just come and see. And wouldn't you know it, she comes upstairs, and they were real Cabbage Patch Kids that they were unloading. And she realized what a treasure it was, this opportunity to get there and get that Cabbage Patch Kid before anybody else. But we came from a family that didn't have a lot of disposable income. And I remember she looked into her envelope that she had for the groceries that day, and she only had enough for one Cabbage Patch Kid. So I have a brother and a sister. My brother didn't want a Cabbage Patch Kid, but my sister really wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid. And
let me hold this up. This is that Cabbage Patch.
Anyway, long story short, Mom bought one Cabbage Patch Kid, and we had to explain that to my dad why we weren't buying groceries, because we were buying this one Cabbage Patch Kid. And my mom explained to me that Christmas was going to come and that Pam really needed that Cabbage Patch Kid more than I needed that Cabbage Patch Kid. And as much as that might seem like a really sad story, when she opened it up Christmas morning, I said, the joy that she had in opening that Cabbage Patch Kid, I got to share in that like it was me too. And really, we grew up sharing everything anyway. So it was like it was both of ours. And I was the older sister, so it was easier for me to just not have it be mine.
But to hold this brings you back to that, doesn't it? It's
that
an emotion.
Moment.
And that's bringing the past to the future. Look at these pictures here. Look at all these different things that Dave has: hockey cards and Pokemon and figurines with wrestling, and we're talking Bozo the Clowns and dolls like Barbies and obviously thousands of Cabbage Patch and Beanie Babies. Man, that was another craze back when we were kids, right? That just sort of exploded when our kids were kids. Comic books. I asked him, how many do you have? He says he's got 2 million. Matchbox toys. He just unloaded today. He just showed me a video of it, 350 boxes of more Matchbox toys in their cases.
Stamps and coins and autographs.
It's unbelievable. NASCAR, so much NASCAR. So why do we share that with you? Well, we share that with you because this opportunity is going to allow you to share those around the world with a point, click, share kind of approach. And what we love to say is that there's no obstacle to shipping this around the world because it's all licensed goods, and you don't have to worry about that potion of lotion being not allowed in some countries, or you don't have to worry about an ingredient not being allowed, or you don't have to worry about customs or anything like that in terms of something not being regulated in that country. These are goods that can go around the world,
all trademarked.
So what we get to do is share this opportunity with a website that we're creating about all of this to create cash flow. And so for you and I, when we almost died in that boating accident, this is what we were looking for. And it was something that we just wanted to make sure that would be there for our kids down the road, as we might call a legacy. But really, ultimately, if we could develop in this mindset of, 100 people out there, maybe I get a little piece of all of them, what would that do for us? It didn't rely just on you and I. It wasn't a paycheck anymore. That's this industry. And when you understand that, then you can get your head around what retail rewards mean and what the profits and commissions can look like. There's our logo. Nancy, we have seen this firsthand now, and we're ready to share it around the world, aren't we?
Well, and I had an aha moment when I was talking about this with one of my friends, and they were talking about art and collecting art and how they see that as an investment. And I was just like blown away because she said to me, does Dave have rookie cards? And I'm going, absolutely, Dave has rookie cards. You name a sport and Dave has rookie cards.
He's got soccer, she said, he's got everything.
Well, I could totally see buying a big ticket item like that for my husband, because what do you get the guy that has everything? What do you get the guy that wants for nothing but wants to remember what it was like when they were a kid and they had that card, and then they don't have that card, and how fascinating it would be to give that to somebody. And then when Dave tells that story about when one of these items is going to sell and somebody's going to get a commission check off of that, like unbeknownst.
And that's one of our bonus points, right? We've got 8 ways to make money in this program. So you could just be somebody that points, clicks, and share all of these products on a website. If they find something and they buy it, you get a retail bonus, right? You get something from $5 to $200, depending on the item. And obviously that could be something you'd love. But if you want to build a team and you understand the concept of team building, this is going to be one of the easier things you've ever done, because ultimately you're not going to be out there trying to sell these things. You're just going to be sharing what's on this website. And if people buy what's there, you could build teams, and all the volume that's generated from those transactions can actually fall into the 2 teams that you might be creating. And even further to that, we're going to successfully teach people how to make that go up the ranks, because you can move up our levels in our company. You'll get a dual team matching check on the efforts that you help others make money with. In other words, if somebody starts making $1,000 and you're at a level that earns you 20% of their check, that would be a bonus that you would get for matching. And then even better is if each of those transactions pay a level, what we call a unilevel, above all of the transactions, you can share in that as well. So ultimately, each and every one of us can share in retail rewards from all over the world based on a website that has millions and millions of actual items and dollar value that's unbelievable. But ultimately, Dave's goal is that he'll have 100,000 items on here for you to choose from by September. That's amazing. Now, obviously, we won't hold ourselves to that, but the point is, these are the starting packs. Nancy, one of the most important things Dave said right at the beginning is he wants everybody to win.
And I love it's a get in where you fit in type of program. I know when our kids were looking at programs, they said it's really hard to get other young people to make that first financial investment when they haven't figured out how to even be entrepreneurs yet. And this gives people a starting point wherever they feel comfortable with. They can get in, they can learn as they go along, earn and learn. And you never know, it might just take one little thing to ignite somebody and they really start lighting this up.
And you don't know who people know, right?
It's
so
true.
$29.98 starting point could be the ideal point for somebody to make $5. And maybe they have 5 or 10 friends that want to do the same thing and they just made $50. And then one of those friends decides they might want to move up the ladder and buy one of the collector products or get into the influencer level. And before you know it, you've got people building volume and you're moving up the ladder. And that success can just be a sort of based on your efforts and other team members' efforts that you just combine all together to drive yourself to the top of the plan. I mean, ultimately, this plan is all about point clicking and sharing. And I think the most important thing that we're going to teach eventually is how you just touch the phones and share the website with your link on it. And if they buy, you get paid. That's a retail reward. Ladies and gentlemen, we love what we have seen so far in this company, and we're only at the beginning stages. So I would say every week, every month going forward, there's going to be obviously advancements to the program. And Dave's doing this right. But folks, whoever asked you to look at this, please get back to them and ask them for the new updates as they come out. Offer the chance maybe to join our private group that shares information on a daily, weekly basis. And you make your own decision, because ultimately this is about what you want, not what we want.
Yeah, I think that that's what's so cool too, is that you're just talking to people about what they want and you're pointing them in a direction where they can get it.
Well, folks, we've had a lot of success in our lives, not to impress you, but we have had some success selling companies on the New York Stock Exchange and others. And we believe timing is everything. And we believe right now, this is the timing of all our lives. Take a look at it. Definitely get back to the person that invited you here.